Hi everyone, this is Tammy, owner of Worthyworthitpriceless, and today's podcast is titled, What Does Love Look Like to You? It may seem like a simple question, but it may not be the simplest for everyone. Because a lot of us may have not had a great depiction of what love looks like. And even if you haven't, what I would ask you to do is make a new definition of what love looks like. I know that you may have not always, like I said, seen the best depiction of love, but that doesn't mean that you can't write your own definition. And with that, you can write a definition in all different categories. What does a relationship love look like? What does self-love look like? What does love from family look like? It is very important that you have a definition so that you know that, so you can basically realize or have a chart of if someone is loving you the way that you want to be loved. How do you know how you want to be loved if you don't have a definition of it, or you don't have just basically something to go to look at? The reason why I say this is from my own experience. Recently, if you guys have been following the podcast, I've talked a lot of times about rediscovering myself and everything like that, and the journey that God has me on. And what I've recently realized was that I thought that people around me loved me, but the characteristics and the things that they were doing showed that they didn't love me, and I was actually blind to it. That's why I'm so adamant about you guys making sure that you do have a definition or something to fall back on, so that you know that. So that if you're in a situation where someone isn't loving you properly, you're able to recognize that early and say, hey, this isn't how I want to be loved. Now, I'm not saying that everyone is going to automatically love you the way that you have in your mind, but at least they can love you somewhat of a way. But it's also the point, how can you tell someone how you want to be loved if you don't know yourself? I didn't know what love looked like to me. I knew that the things that was happening to me wasn't right, or how I was being treated wasn't right. But I tried to verbalize those things, even though the things didn't change. I somewhat knew, but I really didn't know. And I was always hoping and wishing that they would get better, but they didn't. And then, like I said, I didn't realize till it was super over with, that I was like, man, you didn't really even love me. And I even started realizing even certain things in my relationships or friendships, that it was like, hey, this is my bestie, this is my friend, and this, that, and the third. But what I wasn't realizing was that a lot of people that I was giving these titles to wasn't living up to those titles. But I would have never known that had I not sat back and, like I said, had a guideline, or even started to realize, like, hey, this isn't cool, or this isn't how this is supposed to go. You'll never know those things unless you sit down and actually see those things for yourself. And I think the problem is that we don't take the time out to relax and look at our surroundings and look at our situations. It shouldn't take a tragedy, a breakup, or an argument with someone for you to realize that, hey, maybe this isn't the best place for me. This isn't what I should be in, or you're not treating me the way that I want to be treated, not even close. But we will never know those things unless we wise up, unless we wake up. And like I said, how can you tell someone how to love you if you don't know? How do you know what your love language is if you've never taken a quiz. And then sometimes you may not have to take a quiz, but it's just basically the point. If you don't even know yourself enough, if someone comes and like, well, what is the ingredients of you? Or, what can I do to make you happy, or this, that, and the third? If you don't even know yourself, how can you tell someone else? So it is very important that you get to know yourself. Have a definition of love, even if it's self-love. Everything doesn't have to be about relationships, but at least start somewhere. Because you need to know how you want to be loved, how you want to be touched, how you want to be spoken to. Start by writing those things down so you can clearly see those things. And little by little, you'll start forming what love looks like to you. And what is your definition of love? And you'll start seeing, hey, I like this. I don't like this. I don't want to be touched like this. I don't want to be talked to like this. But you can never know that if you don't know that yourself. You can't give that information or knowledge to something that you don't know at all. So start somewhere. Always know that you have worth, you have value, you are precious, you're important, you're necessary. God loves you. I love you. Thank you so much for supporting this podcast. And always know that you are worthy, worth it, and priceless. So until next time, bye.